Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
So, Giacomo, guess what I did? Like one of these days, in this past week.
What did you do one of these days in this past week?
I started watching Three Body Problem at 9 p.m. at night, and I ended watching it at 5 a.m. in the morning.
So you yourself wanted to have a three-body problem by not sleeping?
Hell yeah. And in fact, I liked it so much, I downloaded the first books because I didn't want to wait like 2 or 3 years to figure out what happens, you know. Mm-hmm. It's quite good. It's really, really good. I can see why it won awards and stuff. So where did you watch it on?
Netflix. Wow.
It's one of their better shows that they've put out in quite some time, I should say.
Hope it doesn't go like what was the archive show you liked? RP
Archive, I think it was.
Was it that one? Archive 88 or something?
Yeah. It's way better than that.
And that was a pretty decent show, but that just like died after season 1. Very sad.
Very, very sad. Big sad.
Big sad.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about today. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening in September. Like a lot of really cool stuff happening in September.
Nice.
First and foremost, the All Valley Team Tournament's happening in September, the 21st and 22nd.
Yep.
Make sure you guys are coming to that if you can make it. We're giving out 3 golden tickets, and what's better than playing Kill Team with the homies? But besides that, D&D, the Player's Handbook, comes out, and so does Space Marine 2.
Yeah. All sorts of stuff in September.
Mm-hmm. I'm super excited. Super excited. And I hopefully a Kill Team release happens in September too. That's that would be the month of the year, you know? Almost on par with Christmas. Almost.
Almost on par with Christmas. Almost. That's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, so 2 relatively big tournaments happened this past weekend. One of which was the Goonhammer Open, and they had a total of 27 players, and Orion won it with Gellerpox infected.
Hell yeah.
As per the usual. Kevin Starr got second with Scout Squad.
Ooh.
Yeah, Sean Lavery from Kill Team Jan came in third with Commandos, and then it was Jerry Cruz on Blades of Cain, then Adrian Bonavento, then Liam Garrett, then Vincent, and then True Carlson. So those are the top 8. But it went Gellerpox, Scout Squad, Commandos, Blades of Cain, Mandrakes, Brood Brothers, Compendium, no idea what Compendium team, and then Imperial Navy Breachers. And then Spain had a rather large 92-person tournament.
Wow. That is rather large.
Yeah, rather large. And they had a top 8 cut on day 1, or day 2, for day 2. So only the 92 players played day 1, and then everyone except 8 players were allowed to come back, and then it was single elimination. So if you lost, you were out. Pretty spicy. So I'll go over the top 8. I think you're going to see
a pattern.
So we have Inquisitorial Agents, which is phenomenal over in Europe. They have been dominating Poland and Spain, though America has not picked them up. We have then Brood Brothers in second. Javier Gairo in third with Novitiates. Then we have Paradox with Mandrakes. Then we have Piet Molar with Gellerpox infected. Then we have Ace with Mandrakes. Then we have Lazarus with Brood Brothers. And then we have Javi Anarion with Blades of Cain. And in 9th place, we have Scout Squad. And then it goes Inquisitorial Agents, Mandrakes.
Damn.
And then finally we get something different, which is Hearthkin Jaegers, and then it just goes straight back to scouts, commandos, scouts.
They're really trying to make scouts work.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard once you get out of the top 8, because from 9th place until, oh God, I have to go to the next page. 9th place until 30th place was 3-1.
Wow.
So how shitty does that feel for all of those people to get bumped out because of opponent win percentage? Sucks balls. And half of them got, and then they had extended win percentage, percentage after that. So all of those people didn't get bumped out because of anything else except for opponent win percentage. Kind of feels bad, you know. Good job to the top 8 in that one, but a surprising one was Ace lost in the first round of the day 2 to Brood Brothers, and he got beat 21-6.
Ooh, 21-6.
Yeah, Brood Brothers beating Mandrakes in Spain.
To 6 though, like
yeah, it's pretty bad.
I don't know rough.
I don't know what happened there. Maybe he got alpha striked. He only got 3 primaries and 3 secondaries. That was his total score. Yeah.
He must have really had to use the restroom and just used all of his time up. What else would happen, right?
I have no idea. But the last round was Brood Brothers versus Inquisitorial Agents, and the final score was 16-17. So pretty spicy on that one. Pretty spicy. Brood Brothers almost took the whole thing. So it's almost like Gellerpox, Mandrakes, Brood Brothers, Novitiates, Scouts, and it seems like Blades of Cain is up there. So
yeah,
pretty interesting to say the least. Pretty interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of other kill team to talk about, other than have you watched our Meta Watch stat show? If you haven't, check it out on YouTube. It's pretty cool, pretty good.
Link in description.
Link is in the description. And then Hobby Highlanders are good. But there's not a lot of other kill team to talk about other than I've seen you on your Instagram. You've been painting away, G.
Yep. Wargaming Studios working on those Night Lords. But are they the new hotness? No, that's Brood Brothers.
And I thought to myself, we could just sit here and do another deep dive or something like that about kill team, but Squad Games doesn't just do kill team. So if you want to listen to more kill team stuff, tune in next week because the kill team bit is over. We're going to move on to something else close and dear to my heart and G's heart.
It's the fastest kill team podcast. 8 minutes.
If you guys have anything else there was a question that we never went over. We did have somebody ask us. We always go over tournaments and we never go over casual play. G, have you done any casual kill team this week or last week?
Not this last week, just because it's the 4th of July out here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So I didn't play much kill team.
You typically play on Thursdays, right?
I typically play Thursdays, yes. I did get one very odd game with a friend. What we did was we just took 6 random models, 5 objective markers on the ground, and 1 piece of terrain. And we did legitimately random models, so it was not the same team. I had a bunch of Chaos and Sisters on one side, and then we just played the game. It lasted maybe 10 minutes because at that point one side was stabled. Played loot. It was cool.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He was like, just pick like 6 random models from the box, and so I did. I got 2 plasmas, a melt-a-gun. I don't know what my sisters did. Just one had a flamethrower, and that was it.
Fair.
He had a Felgor, he had some sisters, and he had some chaos on his side. It was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
So normally, though, I do try to play 1 or 2 games on the week, just because it's enjoyable. I like playing the game. Try to do more narrative because I enjoy the narrative rules. Yeah. How about you, though? I know it's hard for you to get some games in.
Yeah, typically I don't get to play Kill Team unless if I'm going to a tournament. That's why we focus so much usually on tournaments, is because typically that's where I'm playing. I would be playing a lot of tournaments, or a lot, if I was able to attend tournaments that I TO. But I sit there and I watch a lot of tournaments. I watch a lot of players, and I watch a lot of Kill Team. So I don't get to play very often. Hopefully one of these days we're going to actually start the stream studio so we can actually, play every Tuesday,
That'd be dope.
It would be. Yeah, we got to do that. But, yeah, typically I don't get to do that very much. I kind of was feeling a tad, burnt out, this past week on Kill Team. So I didn't do a lot. I played a lot of video games, and I wrote a lot of D&D stuff. I think my New Haven players packet is up to 144 pages now.
You could almost get it published.
Maybe. Yeah. So I wrote it I started off in 3.5 edition, and I've been writing it for over the years, and it's currently at 5th edition, but it'll probably be for 5.5. Gee, have you seen the image of the world? Have I ever shared it to you?
I think once. You want to show me again?
Yeah.
Hey, this is pretty nifty.
Yeah. So I ended up drawing this image back in... Oh God, when did I draw this? I drew this back in like 2010 to 2012, and back then, and I really wanted to play with a lot of different abstract shapes and stuff like that. And then I went through and I've digitally colored it with varying apps, and I added like little towers and a couple other things to it, but most of this is just completely hand drawn by pen. And then I transported it and made it into an SVG, and then I was able to color it from there. So it's pretty cool. A couple of the trees are digital, little assets that I put in, but other than that, it's pretty much hand drawn. So
yeah, so looks good.
Thanks, bro. It's pretty cool. I think this D&D campaign that I wrote, we played in this world for over like 7 years between different player parties. So it had like a lot of rich history, so it was rather easy to come up with 100 and something pages of like all the different races, which we will talk about the new player's handbook. They've changed the word races to
backgrounds.
Nope, not backgrounds, to species.
Species, you're right. Species.
Yeah, in my document, there's still races. It's too hard to.
Oh yeah, to change everything. Don't even worry, man.
Control F races
Control F5,
turn into species. Wait, should I change this word of race into species? I don't know. Too much. It's too much to think about. But yeah, so I have like a whole bunch of history, like. It's like the gazetteer of the world. So it has like how the magic works, how each of the lands are, all the races in it. And then it goes down to like the gods and the materials that are available in the world, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. I think the gods alone are like 30 something pages. Pretty fun, pretty exciting though. To be able to do that. So before I was a kill teamer, I used to be a D&Der. And like I said, we ran a D&D campaign pretty much once a week for 6.5 years between 2 different parties. Sometimes, as a matter of fact, it was 2 times a week. Pretty exciting. So
that is quite a lot.
It is. And then we would have 3 or 4 people coming over playing between like 4 and 7 hours each time. It was pretty fun. pretty exciting to say the least. So, but huge background in Dungeons and Dragons and creativity and stuff like that. So D&D is very much close to my heart. Though it was back in 3.5 and Pathfinder, which is still arguably some of the best editions, I have my qualms with 4th and 5th edition. And that's why I'm quite looking forward to 5.5, but I still think they missed the mark on a few things.
You think they're going to call it 5.5 and not just go like D&D?
I think they're calling it D&D 1 or some shit, but it should have been called 5.5. They already had precedence to call it 3.5 in the past. So like, I don't understand why they wouldn't say like, hey, this is 5.5. Like, I guess maybe D&D 6 is maybe too close to like, like the devil's number. It's D&D is already closely
like Satan.
Yeah, already too closely
related
for too many years, apparently. You know,
probably.
The what?
I'm just assuming it's probably branding, right? They just don't want to be like, we have to make sure people don't think about number 5. So here's 1.
Yeah, and you know, earlier in this year, I think it was last year, we talked about the OGL fiasco that they had, where they were trying to stop all content creators from making anything in 5th edition and behind, and then also getting royalties from all the different people who've ever made anything or going to make something. And Wizards like took a huge cut because of that. I think we're all still waiting to hear if Wizards is going to try to do that again. I know they fired their CEO, so hopefully not.
I mean, hopefully not. Yeah, because I mean, it looks like they've sort of, I wouldn't say recovered, but they've gotten maybe a little bit more in the favor of people.
Time has passed, and making them a little better. Feel better in the public's eye. But I don't think a lot of people have forgotten. In fact, a huge spur of that was a bunch of people creating their own RPGs. And now the second you turn to the left or to the right, there's different RPGs to play. You know, there's like the new Pathfinder, you know, doesn't do anything like D&D, or you turn to the right and you're like, oh, there's this, or, oh, Matt Mercer's doing, you know, his own thing, or this or that, or this or that. Fable, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, actually, you kind of bring up a good point. This is sort of funny. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and how he was saying, you've met him, Jared. Mm-hmm. He, like yourself, he's very much like D&D was his first love. And he kind of explained, like, nowadays, there's like a renaissance of RPGs where people are jumping away from D&D.
I wouldn't call it a renaissance. I'd call it the Wild West.
A Wild West is probably a better term, but in the sense of like they're playing non-D&D games, but still RPGs, like these really obscure, like single book releases that some guy from, you know, Australia made once. And like, they found it and they're like, oh, okay, so we're going to play this game now. He was kind of explaining like that sort of happened once that the whole thing with them, the OGL happened, and everyone was starting to play new games. So I wonder if this will bring a lot more players back, like this new edition, right? Kind of like I brought people back to Warhammer when Warhammer did 8th.
It could. I think it's going to depend on a lot of things. So they're doing something a little weird. So essentially, they're like, hey, we're going to release the Player's Handbook, which is enormous now. The Dungeon Master's Guide in November, and then we're going to release the Monster Manual sometime in February. And only after the 3rd book has released are we going to let everyone know what the new OGL is going to be, right? Or like how it's going to affect D&D 1. Are people still going to be able to use it for free to make content about them? Or is D&D or is Wizards going to be like, hey, anything you make, we can actually steal and not credit you? Or because that's essentially what they were trying to say in the past. And they can pretty much do that anyways now. And a few other things. So it's, I think the D&D community is waiting with bated breath over the next 8 to 10 months to figure out what Wizards is going to do. Because I guarantee you, if they do that again, D&D will die, which will be very unfortunate. I don't think that if they go through with their old, what they were trying to do and take it away from everyone will 100% just switch off of D&D, boycott them again, which will probably be the final nail in the coffin, which will then probably cause Hasbro to sell Wizards.
I don't think they can afford it. Hasbro needs Wizards. The only thing that's keeping them afloat.
Dude, Hasbro could just go under, man. Dude, imagine if D&D stops making money.
I mean, they make money, but Magic the Gathering is making them money. So like they need those. Those are two of the ones that are making them the most money. They need them alive.
Yeah.
So they got to not do that.
Yeah. So we have to hope that the right thing happens. But yeah, I mean, I am hopefully optimistic. I hope that they've learned that they can't just bully the community and try to make this a money grab, and then they can really, make D&D great again. So we can hope. You know what I mean? We can hope. Or yeah. I can hope, I guess. But they've been doing a lot of cool reveals about the player's handbook. They like to do like 20 to 30 minutes of them just talking. And the dude just talks so damn much in circles that he barely reveals anything. It's very annoying. It's like it's flabbergasting on some of them. They do reveal quite a lot, but it's like, dude, you could have done this in like 10 minutes, not 30 minutes, my guy. But is there any of the new classes in the player's handbook, or anything that you saw about the player's handbook, like how they're redoing species and making backgrounds more of a thing? Is there anything like that that's interesting to you, G?
I think my favorite thing was adding a lot of little things that most players did want. Like, for example, there's a set of, like, if you're a druid, monsters you can already transform into and other creatures, which is just a quality of life improvement. Like, these are things you should have had, building basic magic items and stuff, little potions and shit, crafting, things that you should have in a player's handbook, as opposed to having to find like extra parts either online or getting a different book entirely. Mm-hmm. So those improvements already from the player's handbook is makes it like a real player's handbook. Like, this is where you start if you're playing, and then you can go on from there. So that's already a bonus. I know they put hella spells in there and hella feats, which is like, okay, I don't know how many we need, but okay.
Well, that was one of my qualms in 5th edition, was their lack of feats. Like, they made, so back in 3.5 in Pathfinder, like, feats were just like, you got one every 4th level, and if you're a fighter, you got one every 2 levels.
Yep.
So you could really like customize your character. And then on top of that, you would also get ability score increases. They really limited that by like limiting the amount of feats that you would get and making them like weak as shit. So like you would like, unless if you were like trying to be like a two-handed swordsman, and really trying to like exponentially grow the damage you would do with your sword. Like, do you take the ability score increase, or do you take like great weapon mastery? Like, it was such a hard choice. And it's like, if I don't take great weapon mastery now, then I can't take my ability score increase until 8th level, which is like, who the fuck knows when that's going to happen. And then it's like, and I'm still not going to max it out until level 12. Like, everything felt so slow. I don't like power gaming. I don't like min-maxing. Is there a place for it? Absolutely. Should you do it as a person? Absolutely. But it shouldn't be like forefront and like how it shouldn't be like the main thing that you're trying to do, unless if that's just like what you want to do as a player character. But like in 5th edition, it felt so bad coming from these older, more complicated editions where there was so much more crunchiness. And I think that was like the appeal of 5th edition, was it's so much easier for everyone to get into.
But perhaps maybe just a little too simple in the fact that they took some stuff away. And like you mentioned with customization, because, I started with 3.5 and I thought 3.5 was complicated, but once you kind of got the hang of it, playing it a few times, you're like, all right, it makes sense. And there was just a lot you could do, which was cool. Because again, in a game like a role-playing game, do whatever you want, right? So this just gives you more tools to do whatever you want. And I think them bringing back all these things is going to help you do that. And a side note, if you want to play competitive, they actually have a little guide to help you do that in the player's handbook as well.
Do they really?
Yeah. So if you want to go like hardcore, I want to be a competitive D&D player. Our crew is all competitive players. Like there's a way they kind of designed it to be like, this is what you want to kind of do. Which is cool. Like
they can you fight each other or some shit?
No.
How is
so
it
like
competitive? What?
So like you go like, all right, I want to be like the best spellcaster, warlock, whatever, right? All right, so you take this background, you take this ability, you take this kind of style, and you take this. These things are going to help you do XXX, right? So like they designed it to help you like figure out how to do insanely competitive stuff if you wanted, like the best build for whatever, which is interesting in its own right. I don't really know competitive D&D players, so like I don't think I've ever met one.
I don't think. Yeah,
I've met min-maxers that are like like
there is like at adventuring leagues. Adventuring leagues, like you can go to different DMs in different areas, and they just they sit down and they run the session, and you just kind of like sometimes I would probably guess that's where you would find the most competitive people because they're min-maxing their build in order to do cool things. And like there was some dumb things you could do in 5th edition, but it was like, so some of the things are so stupid or ridiculous. Like I'm going to polymorph this thing into a Tyrannosaurus Rex and drop it on you. It's just like dumb, like so stupid.
Just because you could. But I'm glad that they gave you those options, and they give you options if you're starting like, all right, you want to play a fighter, you should probably do this and this to have a good start, and what stats to kind of play into. That was one of the things when I first started playing D&D was like, where do I put all my stats? Like what skill upgrades and stuff should I be doing? So it's nice just to have that for like brand new players who really like are unsure. Or if you want to just sort of turn your brain on, role play, this is a good way to do it too.
Yeah, I think this edition has added a little bit more spice, which is something that I innately would want from 5th edition. So let's go over like the negatives of 3.5 before I tell you like the things that I'm really enjoying about this 5.5 D&D 1. Firstly and foremost, 3.5 Paladins fucking sucked. By far the worst class in the game. Like, it was like awful. And then you felt bad for your player characters who would choose a Paladin because Paladins are cool. And then you kind of go on to like 4th edition where Rangers were just overpowered and it felt like you were playing WoW, and it was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why do I have to use this like once an encounter and this? And dude, I fucking hated 4th. I could literally sit here and talk so much shit about it and how unbalanced that piece of shit game was. That four level ones could go and kill challenge rating 13. That does have to do because like, a DM should probably never let that happen. Oh, I made a challenge level 13 guy, like, and then it's like, oh, 4 crits in this. Oh, I guess he's dead. Good job. You killed the demigod. I don't know what to do now. Cool. Campaign over. like you just don't let that happen as a DM. You're just like, oh, well, he secretly has another 20 life. You didn't kill him. Now it's time to run, I don't know. I think that there's like, it's interesting as well. The translation between a DM and like kill team as a TO, it's pretty interesting. But 3.5 had a lot of really cool customization. You could do anything, especially when Pathfinder came out. You could like mix and match between 3.5 and Pathfinder fixed all the shitty classes from 5th edition, 3.5. And then like it just made things better and stronger. But the problem was once you reached about level 10, you would either completely kill your party or they would just nuke whatever you gave them. You got to level 17 and 20. It was a slog for the DM in order to design hard encounters or to design things like that. So like I ran a campaign for 2.5 years and the players went from level 1 to level 20 They started off as slaves. They got enslaved by a Greek empire, and they won emancipation by finding like a serial killer. And then like the campaign progressed all the way up to level 20. And then I started another campaign in the same world at the same time, just a different continent. Ran that one for 4 years. And then those two parties met each other. And there was only two-person overlap. So it was like a gaming session of like 7 or 8 people that would come together over like 3 or 4 sessions in order to see how something would happen at the end, right? Which ended up changing the world, yada, yada, yada. But it was so hard in order to not just kill everyone or just have your bad guys get like nuked off the face of the earth. I remember my 2.5-year campaign, my first one, I spent 2.5 weeks building the bad guy, like the final boss. And he just fucking beat the shit out of them. It was amazing. And I let them beat the shit out of me for like 2.5 months, like meeting twice a week, just so they could get like their hopes and dreams up. And I came in with the final big bad boss and they were like, oh shit, this is new. Felt good. They ended up winning in the end, but it was a cool time. But that's besides the point. Leaving memories. 5.5 has a lot of really cool things, and I think they really screwed over a couple classes in 5th edition. In 5th edition, I thought paladins were not good, and I thought rangers and monks fucking sucked. Like, awful. Really, really bad. Mm-hmm. I think the new ranger is a lot better, but I don't know if it's going to be that good. It's like they did a lot of weird choices. D&D originally started with a lot of inspiration from Tolkien. So like the original ranger class is kind of like the Aragorn, the Legolas, that kind of stuff. And that's like one of my favorite classes. And it was really bad that it's been bad since 2014. It's literally been bad for 10 years, right? For a decade, the ranger's been ass. And they brought it back, and it's no longer the Legolas. It's no longer the Aragorn. They changed so many things about it that it's not as recognizable, and it makes me sad. The Paladin looks like it might be the worst class from what like the previews we've seen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things to be excited about the edition. Like they've brought in these new weapon masteries, which is something that I already like made in my campaigns before, where like the weapons can now do specific things. So if you have like a quarterstaff can innately trip somebody. You can use an attack to use it. Or when you hit somebody, you can also like push them back. Like crossbows now have a thing where when you shoot somebody, if you have a mastery in it, it can knock somebody 10 feet back, which can lead to really cool things where you can knock people off cliffs or walls or into like lava pits or whatever. Right.
Right.
And it's cool that they've added that. I kind of, I think I did that like into like 2012. But I'm happy to see that come into the game because I know it's a really good thing for the game. Something that my players like really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, because it's like they added an ability with nicking. Like, so if you have a slashing weapon but it doesn't hit, you might still graze them a little bit or something. And it just like it feels so bad when you're rolling and you have a pretty good chance to hit them and it just like completely fails and you do nothing. And especially if you keep doing that turn after turn, your player's just sitting there like kind of like, oh, So at least you're doing something, so it doesn't feel like you're completely wasting. So yeah. I like little things like that because it just builds more confidence in your players.
Yeah, I think that's a fighter trait.
It is in the new one. It's a new fighter trait. Yes.
Yeah.
But just as like little things like that.
Yeah. Cause it feels really bad when like you're fighting like a dragon and you're like, man, I have to hit like a 30 to hit this dude. And you're just rolling and you're like, wow, I hit once out of 5 attacks while the fucking sorcerer's over here. Like, fireball, fuego.
Right, shit like that, and it's like I feel like I'm providing nothing to this fight.
Exactly. Yeah, so like there's a lot of really fun things they've added to all the different classes. Like I think they just announced like the monk today, and the monk has a lot of really cool stuff. But like the game is kind of stupid too, because they're like, oh, listen to what we did. I'm going to grab the mic all seductively. Listen to what we did. We took the monk, and now the monk, when he's doing stuff, if he gets poisoned at the end of his turn, he could just not be poisoned. He doesn't have to use his bonus action. He could do this, and it just doesn't cost anything. He could do this, and it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't cost anything. You could just do this for free now. It's so cool. And it's like, dude, like in 3.5, there was this thing called a free action. So you had your action, you had your bonus action, then you had your free action. Okay. You got rid of free actions in the game innately, you dumb motherfucker. And now you're adding it back in the game, acting like it's fucking something new. Guess what? It's not. It's just a free fucking action.
10 years ago, it was gone, So in 10 years now it's new again.
Yeah. I think 3.5 came out like in 2002. Hold on. Let's see when.
My friend got the starter set, I want to say in 2006.
June 2023. Revised was 3.5. The year 2000 the year 2000 was the initial release of third edition.
Right?
And then 3 years later they did the 3.5.
20. Yeah, okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because 3.0 was super, super crunchy. And then it just kind of streamlined a bunch of stuff. But it was pretty like, it's some things are just like stupid where they're just like, yeah, we did this. It's just so interesting. It's so cool. It's like, guys, this has existed before. Can we not act like it's something like fucking blowing our minds? Like, like it's weird. It's weird seeing marketing and realizing something's done marketing wise. Like Games Workshop's pretty decent at like covering up their marketing things, like sometimes, and then you have then you have like the FOMO. It's like, oh, damn, I didn't get termination. Damn, I guess I have to wait 6 months until the fucking normal box comes out. Like you can definitely see some of that kind of stuff, but we don't like recognize it like instantly. This I could just like immediately recognize. Like I was like, yo, this has existed before. It's not something new. So don't act like it's something new, my guy. Like if it was something new, that would be dope. Like this weapon mastery thing is really cool. But like, I'm sure that you might have seen it from somebody else who might have done something similar. And then, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited for it because 5th edition is so fucking boring. I could never get into like a 5th edition campaign because it's so boring. 3.5, I didn't ever want to run again because like Pathfinder, because like once you get to a certain level, it's just so much, like I said before, so much time and effort on the DM's behalf, like making things and like doing all this kind of stuff. It can be annoying. So I'm hoping for the best. I know there's a lot of other like RPGs out there that people are like big fans of, but I've learned one gaming system. I don't really want to learn another. So,
I mean, I know that was one thing they mentioned. I just thought about this. You're probably right. This should really be called 5.5 because they specifically say 2014 characters are compatible with this new version, but 2024 characters will not be compatible with 2014 rules. So it's like, okay,
it's weird.
It is weird, but I get it. I get it because obviously, like the new core mechanics and stuff, the slightly new core mechanics is not like crazy new. It's nothing that if you've been playing, you're gonna not understand. It's pretty easy to get into. It's like 8th edition to 9th edition in Warhammer. It was pretty similar.
Dude, imagine if we get a new edition of D&D this year and a new edition of Kill Team. Holy shit.
Holy shit. 2 for 1. Jesus Christ.
Imagine if it all comes out in September. Holy shit. Like I said, almost as good as Christmas, right?
Yeah, right? It's our Christmas.
Yeah, one of the reason why I liken being a DM to a TO is as a DM, you're like kind of crafting the story, kind of going and moving things along, and you're kind of like in control of certain things in the party that you're not forcing things, right? And as a TO, you're pretty much just the facilitator as well. You're kind of in that same role where. Have you ever heard the term forever DM?
Yeah, where they never get to play. They're always the
dungeon master.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the same thing that I'm in for Kill Team, you know? I think locally there's one tournament being run outside of like the local monthly that Charlotte runs in the Odyssey, right? Like there's like one event happening. And that's because we didn't run an event in July.
That's true. Yeah, we're not running one in July.
Yeah. So it's interesting to say the least. Is there anything else about 5th edition that like really caught your eye, G?
I thought it was sort of cool to have advantage. Like, in theory, advantage makes more sense than +1. Rolling 2 dice is usually better than getting a +1. But at the same time, it's sort of boring. Like that's like, it's only used on certain things, and you have to kind of get it. Like an inspiration sort of felt like it was just advantage anyways. So
fuck inspiration, dude.
Yeah, so it wasn't really anything that was important to me. They addressed that in the new edition. It's now inspiration is now a reroll at any time.
As it always should have been.
As it always should have been for anything, you know, which is nice. So like damage rolls, skill checks, death saves, shit like that. You know, it's like, oh, as it should have been. Like otherwise it was just advantage, like whatever.
I'm still not the other problem with 5th edition is like, I still don't like their death saves mechanic, their critical saves mechanic. Like in this edition, they're taking out the ability for villains to do critical hits. And combat is so much more stale without critical hits. Shit, even fucking Kill Team has critical hits, right? Like they're an innate part of the game, and then they're just saying like player characters cannot be critically hit. And it's like, that's fucking dumb. Like, it's just dumb. You know what they have? They can't get crit because they have plot armor. And then on top of that, the crits have changed over the years to, instead of times 2 damage, they just do like maximum damage now. And it's like, okay, I guess I do maximum damage on this hit. How cool is that? You know, you want that times 2. You want those other things. Yeah, I know for my campaign, I added in mortal wounds. So now critical hits do mortal wounds, which are like visible damage that causes bleeding and stuff like that. So like, I think there's definitely ways to spice up 5th edition or 5.5, hopefully, without overall breaking it. But, yeah, I think when you've been a DM for as long as me, like, vanilla gets a little boring, though I do love vanilla ice cream. So maybe vanilla doesn't get that boring.
This guy. I mean, like, you know, generally, at least with some of those problems, you know, a veteran DM. So like you, Black Knight, just some people I know, Jared, that have been playing for a million years, sort of see those problems and go like, yeah, fuck that. We're going to actually do it like this, which is nice. But new players are definitely going to learn these habits instead, because that's how they know the rules, right? Because they learn it from the player's handbook. Yeah,
cookie cutter is always better for original, like brand new stuff.
Yeah, which makes sense. So I like the direction they're going with this. I like the thing they're doing with the DM guide stuff too. helping you start as a DM and having even like made scenarios, like 5, I think it's 4 or 5 little scenarios that you can just try out so you can learn it and players can learn how to play. Very much trying to get more people in the door. You know, after that PR nightmare, they got to get as many people as they can back inside. Yeah,
dude, they lost so much money. So they used to, I forget how many people they had on D&D Beyond, but the thing, I think the thing is to like cancel your D&D Beyond membership, which was like $15 a month. And I know it like fucking tanked. And like, you know how bad it is when like the company won't come out and actively be like, oh, you know, like we lost like 100,000 people giving us $15 a month. You know, they won't even come out and tell us how many people. So a little crazy. But for anyone looking to see the world map for my D&D campaign, and of course, if you were a Kill Team player, you probably tuned out quite some time ago. But I'll put it in the Discord so you guys could check it out. But yeah, so it's just a hand-drawn map with digitally colored. Pretty cool. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Some D&D stuff, G?
I have this feeling that Baldur's Gate 3 is using a lot of mechanics, not only from 5, but partially from what will be D&D 1. Because when they were describing it, I was looking at it and I was going, a lot of these things feel like the stuff they mentioned, like the more I've been playing Baldur's Gate. Shout out to Alex Popov. I think he did like a 28-hour session.
Jesus, Alex, do you even work?
He slept in between it, but, you know, like 28 hours. It was the long weekend.
Ah. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, so I'm hoping that is the case because Baldur's Gate is a very interesting way to play the game. It's a lot of fun, which is obviously digitalized D&D, obviously. So I'm hoping they can.
What area are you in on Baldur's Gate?
Oh shit, man! We keep ignoring every quest we start doing, and then just find a new one, and we just keep doing that. I don't know where we are. Somewhere underground. After we went to like the Goblin's lair, after they were like the.
Did you befriend the goblins or did you kill the goblins?
We befriended most of the goblins. We killed the first set of goblins we went into because they were hostile, and then we bullied one into letting us in, and then now it's all good.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you help the people, all the tieflings, or did you kill all the tieflings?
No, we killed the tieflings.
Oh, you're a fucking asshole.
It wasn't even on purpose. Like Val's character was trying to stop. Spoilers, was trying to stop one of the druids from killing a child. She failed in both different checks. So the child died, and then now the druids were hostile. So we had to fight the druids, which meant that those tieflings were absolutely getting slaughtered outside. Yeah, it was pretty rad.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Yeah, it was cool. You know, cool. That's what happens when you fail twice on two different ability rolls. Yeah.
Maybe Val should have put more into charisma.
She's a barbarian. It makes sense that she wouldn't.
Dude, barbarians have the best dialogues in that. I also play a barbarian in my run through, and it's like you're like looking at a mirror, and it's like ask the mirror a question, break the mirror,
yeah,
break it. I love the very beginning scene when you're looking at Shadowheart as a barbarian. You get an additional thing. Like you can say like, oh, press these buttons, do this. So the barbarian one is just like, rip it open. So you go up and you just like, you roll. If you pass, you rip open the entire thing and save Shadowheart. And it was barbarians. What is your favorite kind of character to play?
Ooh. Generally, I like playing fighting classes. Magic classes are all right, but I like hitting things, whether that's as a paladin, you know, so divine caster, as a battle cleric, which are always fun. Even shit, I'll just go back to regular fighters sometimes because it's just fun to turn your brain off and just do a big combo hit hard.
I feel you on that. So my favorite class to play is Magos or Duskblade, if anyone knows what those are from 3.5 and Pathfinder. It's a sword and spell warrior. I think they did like there's like a Path of the Warlock, which has like some kind of blade, and then there's Eldritch Knight, and then there's the Blade Dancer, Song Dancer, some shit from the fucking Wizard class. Let me tell you, those all do what Magos and Duskblade did shittily. There was nothing in 3.5. I mean, nothing in 5th edition that resembled that. My favorite type of person to play as a character is somebody who's really fucking dumb. I cannot tell you how fun it is for me to play dumb as fuck characters. Like, I think in my last campaign, I played a guy who could not read. And they would give him maps, and I would just start walking in a random direction. Like, the map would be upside down. And they have no idea. No, I got it. I know where we're going, you know? No fucking clue. But being super dumb is just so funny. Like, when I'm listening to somebody, if somebody uses a 3-syllable word, I replace it with a different word that sounds similar, but probably means something else in my head, you know? And we had this thing is Saya was the DM. And we were all pretty dumb. It was really kind of shitty for Saya because we were all super dumb. Or some of us were smart, but we didn't understand magic. So she comes in and she's like, oh yeah, you just have to teleport up here and you guys will be good. And so we're like, we all looked at each other. And the funny thing is all three of us are like really expert role players. So like we walked up to, so we're like, okay, so we're going to go to the port. And Saya's like, okay, what? Okay. So we went to the port and we're like, all right, so we're going to tell the port that we have to go here. And he's like, well, that's inland. I can't get you there. Yeah. But this other guy said we had to go and tell the port that we had to get, that you would get us there. No, that's what? We just really confused Saya. And we had a 2-hour-long conversation with an NPC and ourselves about telling the port how to get somewhere. And it was just so fun for us to be dumb. It annoyed the shit out of Saya, but it was so fun for us to do. To not only annoy Saya, but to keep coming up with reasons to be dumb and not understand what teleporting is. Because, I mean, think about this. If you were back in the day, if you were some kind of peasant, D&D didn't exist. None of this other big words exist. You only know like 1-2 syllable words, right? Whom me name Joffrey. Ho, ho, ho. And somebody comes up and is like, yeah, you gotta teleport. So you gotta go teleport over there. You're like, you look at him like, what the fuck you just say? I don't speak Spanish, my guy. You know, like what? You know, anybody like teleport? Okay, I'll go tell the port. Hey, port guy, I'm supposed to tell you about this thing. You know, the shit's just funny. You know,
that's an interesting way to say.
It's funny being dumb, G. It's really funny. You amuse the shit out of yourself and annoy everyone else. It's great.
I like that.
Yeah. Another big thing I wanted to ask you, G. There's a lot of plastic games out here right now, right?
Tons, actually.
Mm-hmm. A lot of plastic games. Is there anything that you've been wanting to play and haven't been able to?
Been a few things. So I wanted to try out Necropolis that Alex has been trying to get more people to play. So shout out to Alex Popov. Age of Sigmar is coming out with some new stuff, so I'm interested in that. And my buddy Lucas has really been pushing to play the Middle Earth strategy battles game. Mm-hmm. And all of them look pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to trying them out. And a little bit of Horus Heresy, but not as much.
That's fair. Well, I think we are playing a D&D. What is the game called? G?
I cannot remember the name.
So we're playing a role-playing game with Janice. She is the forever DM. She forever DM'd over me, which was impressive. Very impressive to me. But she's going to be DMing me, Jonathan Marquis, Saya, and Giacomo in a campaign in the 41st millennium where we're going to role play. and have some fun. Eventually, once we all get comfortable with it, we're going to probably stream those. So if anyone wants to catch us acting silly and being silly, hopefully that'll happen, and we'll be able to, entertain some people in a different way. G, do you want to talk about your character?
Yeah. So I am a Mechanicus character who was repurposed to do custodial tasks. I am stealthy. My name is Leet Spell for Matthew, which is very fun to do. Mm-hmm. And my overall goal is to find out what my actual age is. How about yours?
So we just did the session 0, I think 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I kept getting like a bunch of dog shit things, so I kept having to like custom make my character, which is unfortunate because I got less experience. But it is what it is. So I'm a dude from a feudal world that joined the Militarum, and now we're all working like for the Inquisition. I think the game is called something Maledictum, Imperius Maledictum. I have the book in here.
You have the book.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. But my character is dumb. I made him dumb on purpose because I enjoy being dumb. And I am a like fighter that's like good in melee. I'm okay in shooting. And I'm like a religious zealot as my class, I believe. Like a martial zealot. And my favorite pastime is to make purity seals and put them on myself and tattoo myself with the Emperor. So yeah, I'm a religious guy who's pretty dumb and thoroughly looking forward to playing it. But that's not one of the reasons that is something that we're going to be playing. But I'm looking forward to playing some Middle-earth battle strategy game myself. Ben Campbell just won a tournament in Florida. He was playing it casually, jumped into a tournament this past weekend and won with Bjorn's followers and Bjorn, which is he's a bear character, or he turns into a bear. He's like in D&D terms, he's like a spell shifting druid. Which is pretty cool, in Lord of the Rings terms. And I sent you the book, G, because I wanted to go over some of those classes to see, what you thought, what army you would want to collect. I
think I once had this discussion, and just purely aesthetically, I wanted to do, God, what are those ghosts called?
You want to be the ghost dudes?
Yeah, I remember seeing, man, I saw
they're called the
Dead of
Dunharrow. Dunharrow.
Yeah.
Page 52.
All right, let's go find
these
that.
Guys.
Because I remember seeing them at like a store somewhere. Someone had the display, and that was the first time I'd learned how to like paint ghost effect when I was younger. Okay. Which is just to do like white, hit it with green, then dry brush it with white again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's cool. I like the models. I think they look cool. They're like the old school skeletons, and there's some kind of charm to this like funny look of them, Like, look at this Warrior of the Dead. He's all running at you right here. He's like, I appreciate that look.
So essentially you pretty much just have the King of the Dead, warriors, and these riders of the dead.
Easy gameplay.
Easy paint job too.
Easy paint job. Make it cheat. Uh-huh.
Cool.
How about you? What'd you pick?
Well, I think I was talking to Lucas, and he says you have to pick a good faction and a bad faction.
For fun?
I don't, because I think that the game is always supposed to be done good versus evil.
Oh, that's what you meant by good and bad. I thought you meant these guys are a trash tier. Yeah, I mean, Rohan looks pretty cool too, actually.
Yeah, Rohan looks cool. So There's also the Hobbit one, which there's a couple extra factions. I think we're looking at the armies of Middle Earth right now. I specifically have three good factions that I would play, and then I have 2 evil factions I would play. First and foremost, I would probably play a Rivendell. I'm a big elf guy, always have been. I'm an elf man. Yeah, I got pointy ears to my soul. They're really cool. And my main hero, we can't even talk about what hero you would play because you have one fucking dude to choose from.
Ghost.
Yeah, you are the Ghost King. For me, my number one hero would be Glorfindel because he's the coolest. He is literally the coolest. He died in the old realm and basically became Glorfindel the White. And it's interesting in the movies. Glorfindel was actually the character who saves Frodo from. He rides off to grab Frodo from Strider or Aragorn, and then he rides back, and he is the only person that I know of that all 9 ring wraiths would flee from. So in order to hype up Arwen, they changed it to her, and then instead of him being like, back the fuck off, guys, she was like, oh, horse wave, oh yeah, I'm cool, and then rode back. But Glorfindel actually did that just because he's a badass, and the reason why he didn't take the ring to Mordor is because since he's so powerful, he has such a bright beacon that Sauron would know anywhere that he went. So he could not join the Fellowship because he was actually just too powerful, which is interesting, right? Because he is essentially like a Gandalf the White,
right, of
warriors. And then my second hero, I'd probably use Elrond. Fuck Gil-galad because Gil-galad's dead. He died. He's the king of the elves. The king of the elves is dead. Fuck off, my guy. I'd rather play, Agent Smith, Elrond.
Yep.
He's pretty fucking cool. Pretty cool to me. There's a couple other cool elven heroes like Elladan and LVO Here, which are his half-elf sons, twins. Pretty cool. And then they have a couple cool soldiers, and the Rivendell Knights look fucking superb. So that is pretty cool. The second faction I would take is Mirkwood. And that's in the Hobbit book, but I would probably take Legolas and Thranduil, put him on the elk because that model looks sick as fuck, and have a bunch of elves. I think the shittiest faction in the Hobbit probably is like the dudes from the lake town of the lake town. They just have like a bunch of shitty people, and they have like 3 sub factions, and like you have to go into one of the sub factions to get Bard. It's weird. Bard is like the coolest dude from Lake Town, but that's besides the point. My wife was like, could I just play the Ents? And I was like, yes, babe, you could just play the Ents.
I did see the Ents, yes.
So she would probably just play like Treebeard and
probably play Sylvaneth in AOS.
Probably. She would play Treebeard alongside all the Ents.
Their long list.
Yeah, set them on fire. Easy. Damn. Work's done. Villains, since we're getting into the evil topic, there's a lot of cool villains.
There is outside of just like Isengard,
See, in Star Wars, I'm a villain guy. I don't really like the heroes. Like Luke Skywalker's cool and Obi-Wan Kenobi's cool, but the rest of the heroes are fucking boring. I guess the Mandalorian's cool and maybe Andor, but like out of those 4 people, I'm like, yo, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like the bad guys are where it's at in Star Wars. In Lord of the Rings, it's the good guys. But
I will say, man.
Yeah, I will say that the heroes and the bad guys are cool, and some of the other things are pretty cool about them. Is there any faction of evil that specifically gets you going, G?
I mean, I did like Isengard. In fact, one of the first GW models I owned, not I owned, but a group of friends and I owned, because the first models I owned were a set of Space Marines, a 5-man combat squad. And my other friend, he had bought the Forces of Isengard, which was just the soldiers. That was it. And we just had a box. We didn't know what we were doing with any of these miniature games. And we just used Legos and terrain. So I'm fond of the Isengard models.
Okay.
With their those orc looking mofos. It was cool. So I like them, but I think if I had to do something else, it'd be, I don't know, maybe more like goblins. Gobos.
Okay.
I think, what are they? They are
the Mines of Moria.
Yeah. Like Moria, my guys. They're pretty cool. I don't know. Something funny about like little miniatures in like this old style of like sculpting, which is just there's something endearing about it.
I will tell you, they are not enjoyable to paint. I had like 24 of them, and I think I just threw them away. They literally just pissed me off.
But you can have a dragon.
Yeah, the dragon's cool. Like, that would be the cool thing for him, right? Otherwise, you just have like a shit ton of like, how many points are these guys each? Hold on.
There's very small amounts. I'm looking at it here.
Look at 70, 50. Okay, the Balrog is 350 points. Jesus.
You're playing a scenario with the Balrog.
Yeah. The dragon is 250 points. Yeah, I'd take that guy. Yeah, why not? The goblins are 4 points each. Imagine. So in Lord of the Rings, I think they have a 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and 1,000 point games.
Jesus.
Like, imagine just taking 100 goblins, 100 goblins to a 500 point tournament. Imagine painting them.
I wouldn't want to. I don't think anyone ever has.
You just take like 3 of their heroes and you're like, yeah, this is literally what I've done for the past 6 months. Paint the same model 100 fucking times.
And this is before contrast paint existed back in the day. But now it exists, so you could do that. I mean, I think Harad has cool stuff. You get the War Elephant.
Oh yeah, the Harad's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a cool thing.
A lot of the factions are pretty cool. I definitely think that I would also go Uruk-hai. I think Uruk-hai are
Uruk-hai are cool.
Yeah, I think Uruk-hai are super cool. You can get Uruk-hai trolls. You could take Uruk-hai berserkers, which are just like iconic, you know? And then you could take Saruman. Or I would probably play some sort of like... Now, unfortunately, I have an issue with Mordor. I really like the villains from Mordor, right? Like, I love the Ringwraiths.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Oh yeah, I really like that you could take Sauron, you know. But I will say, the orcs look fucking dumb. They are. I just don't know why you'd want to take.
I mean, these models are dated.
A Morannon orc, like
yeah.
Why would I want to paint so many of these orcs? Like you could literally just paint the Easterlings. The Easterlings look way cooler, you know?
I mean, think of it as a sign of the times when they made these sculpts too. These are like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. And I know Lucas always says like he 3D prints parts too, like they just look better and stuff. So like, I get it.
Yeah.
But there's an endearment to old Warhammer models. Except metal. I just hate metal. I'm a metal hater, but I've worked with metal before.
Yeah, there is a faction in the Hobbit. It's the bad guys from the Azogs dudes. Mm-hmm. They're pretty cool. They're more recent models too. Now, I think the reason why these models look ass is because they're actually 28 millimeter or 25 millimeter scale.
Right,
28 with 25
with epic proportions, bigger hands, bigger heads.
No, not even. I think these are actually like in scale.
In scale. Oh, you're right, because they're a little smaller. You're right.
They're way smaller.
These ones were not done in epic scale. You're right.
Yeah, so like that's why like you see Aragorn and he's just like tiny as fuck, you know, like compared to like a Space Marine, you know, it's pretty interesting the scale differential between them.
Didn't they release new versions of like at least the Fellowship though?
Yeah, they keep releasing new versions, but since they're smaller, they can't get the same amount of detail in.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Just a quick side note: is Billy the pony? Would you consider him part of the Fellowship?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! That's what I wanted to hear. Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Someone posted that thing on Reddit, and I was reminded about it as we were talking now.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Like in the Hobbit one, you can take Saruman as good guy. You have like, I think the Mirkwood Rangers look fucking sick. You could take Azog and the Trolls, which a lot of them look like definitely more modern. A lot of the villains, they look a lot like better, but they are still much smaller, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. If anyone's looking to play some Mordor, you know, or play some Golem's cool too. I'm not gonna lie.
We just need Ben to make more, or you know, to host tournaments, so you don't have to be afraid of him.
I tried to get Ben on the pod tonight, but he can't get on the pod. He's doing his own pod and talking about, you know, Lord of the Rings. So, him winning and all that kind of stuff definitely was like kind of the last straw. I've been wanting to play this, you know, so I've also been wanting to do D&D. So, you know, instead of me always sacrificing, I figure I'll do something for myself one of these days, you know. Smaug is pretty cool in the
Hobbit book.
Well, yeah, in the Hobbits, like his stat line is really good.
Can you explain the stat lines? I don't know. Besides movement, which makes the most sense. So how does the stat line work?
So fight.
Oh, fight. Okay.
So F is for fight, and I'm not 100% sure on how fight works. I know the higher your fight is, it does something. I do know that when you're attacking, you roll all of your attack dice, and the more attacks that you hit with, the more like the opponent gets pushed backwards, and then you're allowed to strike with your attacks versus their defense. And they have the same to hit and to wound categories as old Warhammer. Or it's very similar. It's not the exact same.
They use the chart?
Yeah, it's the chart.
Cool.
So that's what strength and defense is. Defense is like toughness. Then you have your attacks. Attacks are how many dice you roll. Then you have wounds, how much damage you can take. Your C is for your courage. I don't really know how courage works, but
I'm assuming it's like a moral check.
Yeah, it's like a morale check. Absolutely. Okay. And then you have might, will, and fate dice. So your might dice allows you to spend one of your might things. And I think you either get to re-roll or you get to modify one of your rolls. I'm not sure which one. Will is for like casting spells, and you use your will to cast a spell, and then you would roll a dice, and your casting modifier, you know, it tells you what you need to roll, like a 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your fate dice allows you to re-roll, I think, like defense saves, or allows you to ignore damage that's coming in. So, okay. Yeah, so you can spend fate in order to just straight up ignore damage when you like fail your attacks.
Right, and I'm noticing that seems to be only on character models.
Yes, it's only on character models.
Which makes sense, because if even like your little guys, you know, that'd be nuts. Which, so here's another question. I almost feel like this game is a bit skirmishy.
It is. It is very skirmishy because I think most of these things most tournaments are run at like 500. 500 points to 600 points, because I think you're allowed to run 4 rounds in a day if you do. I think they're like an hour and a half long each.
Okay.
Between those 2 point levels, once you get up to 700 points, it becomes a 2-hour long game. And so they suggest only 3 rounds a day, which we all know you can do more. But at a certain point in time as well, it also goes to from a 4 foot by 4 foot mat to a bigger mat. And ultimately, when you're organizing, you can't go higher. So after 800 points, it goes up to at 1,000 points, it goes to 6 foot by 4 foot mat. So, and those games take 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Right. At that point, I was going to say 1,000 feels like you're playing, like you got big dragons and shit, you know, like everything.
Yeah, you can take Smaug and a whole bunch of dudes. Smaug's like 700 points.
That's what I mean. Like, so that's reserved for those ones. It's maybe a little more, not necessarily competitive, but more like, here's a cool ass scenario, you know?
Yeah. Other cool things about this game is that positions matter. So if you're behind somebody, you get, I think you get some kind of bonuses. That's what I kind of gleaned. So like positional and flanking and all that kind of stuff actually matter in this game, which is pretty cool, you know, and there's no charging. It's just full 6 inches. So it's still really strategic. But also it's a lot less sweaty than 40K and Kill Team, because like built into the rules, it literally says like, if you and your opponent can't agree on something, roll a D6, a 1, 2, 3, the evil player gets to decide, 4, 5, 6, the good player gets to decide. And then after the game, you and your opponent can talk about it. Now in a competitive environment, obviously there's going to be referees and organizers, but like just them having that rule in there, it's not like they don't have the same culture as Kill Team with rules is written, right? Like, well, rules is written, this, and this, and this, you know?
Right.
Pretty interesting to say the least.
Because I was wondering, like with the point wise and how you mentioned 500, like you don't really take squads. They don't sell these in squads. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And
that kind of piques my interest a little more than before now.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure on, what like shooting is a little bit more complicated. Kind of essentially like line of sight is if you see any part of the head, the body, or the arms or legs, but like weapons do not count as line of sight, but it is true line of sight outside of that.
I mean, that makes sense, right? You're not going to hit their sword like and kill them. The sword would just move.
Yeah. Moving and shooting is a little bit more difficult because obviously, you know, you got like a giant ass bow. And then there's definitely points, which is cool because you can actually build, like, that's one thing I do miss about Kill Team is like, you know, having points and options, you know?
Yo, imagine this. Imagine if in Kill Team they gave you point values, right? And mostly for the most part, it's mostly the same. Obviously, some specialists cost more, and they just removed the limit on specialists, right? So you could say all plasmas, right? But you'd be insanely overcosted and get like, I don't know, 6 plasmas on, let's say, a guard team and have no bodies to take additional dudes. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, I could.
This is sort of how this game feels like, outside of Heroes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I would 100% say. I think we've had something similar to that in the old edition of Kill Team, which was fun and exciting. That was like some of people's favorite thing about the edition was crafting a roster to bring to the tournament beforehand, you know, and then choosing your 100 point list out of those 20 operatives, which is innately, I think, cooler, but maybe I don't know if it's harder to balance or easier to balance.
I mean, it'd be a mix, right? Because like maybe sometimes you go like, I can absolutely take 6 plasma guns and destroy this team.
Yeah, but then Games Workshop could just be like, okay, all plasma guns cost like 4 extra. Now you can only take 5.
They jump up the prices so you don't do that, which would make sense. Or you just limit gunners, like you can only take 3 though if you decide to go that way. But that means you could take more warriors because they're cheaper.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, it's an option. I don't know. I feel like they're trying to differentiate their games too, and this is fairly unique to just what's this acronym? MES Middle Earth Strategy Battle MESBG. Jesus, kind of just rolls off the tongue.
Well, this used to be a really good game when it first came out, and it kind of went through a couple iterations of it, like falling out of favor, the rules kind of being ass. But I think with 10th edition sucking balls, I think a lot of people have moved away and are looking for other things and kind of coming to the realization that Lord of the Rings has been good for a long time. And especially with the new rules, like there is some weird shit like leaping and jumping and falling down prone and climbing. There's a couple weird things in it.
Might have to print some tokens.
Yeah, but in the end, it's also very much much more skirmish based, and I like it. I think it should be a lot of fun.
I can appreciate that. Plus, I like some of the models here in the armies of the hobbits. Actually, some cool shit in here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff. Like I really like just the Fellowship too. Like you could just go to a tournament and just be like, yo, I just want to play the Fellowship, and just bring like the Fellowship.
Here it is. Suck my dick. You know, like there you go. And then you just get rocked because your team isn't properly, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't properly made, which would be pretty funny. I like how they go. There's obviously the movie lore, but in like the previous book, they actually had some cool stuff from more of the books instead of the movies, which I thought was pretty neat.
Oh yeah,
I like where they go with this. I think it's well done.
Jeez, man, you can't even like to get the entire. Okay, how many points? Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm going to do the base cost. Okay, I'm going to ask. Okay, what's 60 plus 40 plus 10 plus 10 plus 170 plus 160 plus 95 plus 100 plus 100 plus 25?
800 something?
770. Dang
it, I was close.
Oh, and then if we add in Smeagol, it's 800.
I was closest right there, and I didn't get it. That was just going on top of the dome.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to play all them.
So if you wanted to play the full Fellowship, it's full 800 points. And that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 models.
There you go. That is your scenario. I'm playing all of them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is something you do with your friends. You're drinking beer. You have Lord of the Rings extended edition, all three of them running simultaneously. So you're not even trying to watch it in continuity. There's just three screens going on. No one can hear what anyone is saying because the volume's too loud. But you're having a good time anyway. Mm-hmm. Shit, I actually need to watch the extended ones. It's one of the few things I haven't watched. Mm-hmm. I've mostly just watched.
Oh my God, Giacomo, you're going to make so many people rage.
I know.
Right and anyone who's still listening.
They're still listening. They play D&D probably because if they play Kill Team, you know, they're doing the same thing. It's all adjacent.
The fact that you haven't watched the extended edition is wild to me.
I know. And I've had so many chances. I just haven't done it. But every time it would show up on Netflix, I'll be like, I'll put Lord of the Rings in the background. I'll get painting done. And then I definitely don't get painting done because I just watched the 3 movies for like 9 hours.
Yeah.
It's it's really well shot and the story is really well done. It's, in my opinion, one of the last few seriously done fantasy films outside of The Hobbit. But The Hobbit probably could have been... They probably could have condensed that. I don't know if they needed to have as many movies as they did with it. Anyway, side note. So like, you know, they're very enjoyable. It's like even my dad likes them, you know, like, and he's not into like all the fantasy stuff, but this is one he's like, yeah, Lord of the Rings, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good.
You know, the other good faction, did I say that I would do Minas Tirith?
No, but that's a cool one. Yeah, Minas Tirith is awesome.
Yeah, like I'd probably do like either Gandalf the White or Aragorn, the King Aragorn, but they're like 225 points or 220 points for either one, you know? So if you take both of them, that's like 450 points. Dude, that's like taking like every Space Marine hero you can, you know? Like it's kind of crazy.
You mean we can't yet? I'm kidding. No, I like the idea of this game actually. It seems pretty fun.
You take like a bunch of warriors or the Minas Tirith Knights. They're pretty cool. Like the models still, they look like, here's the thing. Like they look like the movie, you know, they might not hold up to like, could they probably do better stuff scaled up? Absolutely. But there's no way they're going to make new molds for this everything.
Like even 40K hasn't done that, you know, like if they haven't done it, what are the chances that Lord of the Rings is going to get that treatment?
Dude, they're going to get Primaris
hobbits are just regular humans.
Primaris hobbits.
Does this game do like a timeline cut like some games used to do?
What do you mean?
So like The Hobbit happens before things happen in the later of the Lord of the Rings, right? Do they say like you can't play against these factions, or is that not a thing?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so, right?
Yeah, I don't think they would.
Because that'd be no fun. Like it's like, oh, I have all the stuff from the old days, and you bought the new stuff from The Hobbit. We technically can't play together. Like that would suck, you know?
That would suck.
Plus, I like some of these factions from The Hobbit a little more.
Yeah,
there's some cool ones.
Yeah, some of the factions from The Hobbit are really.
They're pretty dope. But
also they are the newer line of models. So like they're not nearly as old as like the Numenor and then the the high elves and stuff like that. Because my God, those models
they're showing their age, man.
Fucking ancient.
But that's okay. Again, there's some level of like
they were literally released in like 2002. They are ancient, not as ancient as warp spiders, but ancient.
Like we need a new Gandalf the White and a new Aragorn the King. Just I'm looking at Minas Tirith stuff. Like, oh man, Aragorn's definitely seen some shit on his way to becoming a king. This fucking skull.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, can I right click this image? I'm gonna make an image. I'm gonna post it on the Discord. No one's gonna know what I'm talking about till they listen to this.
So how many points is the Heroes of Eberroar? Erebor. God, Heroes of Erebor. Jesus. Okay. So we got, all right, let's see here. 115 plus 75 plus 75 plus 60 plus 115 plus 65 plus 65 plus 60 plus 55 plus 80 plus 75 plus 65 plus 90. Jeez. 995 points.
That's a lot.
There's no way the Heroes of Erebor, God damn it. The Heroes of Erebor can like stand up to Smaug and like 50 goblins. There's like no way.
No, not at all. It's we once made that joke before in 40K. Like we're playing 1,000 points. Okay, what do you bring? I bring land
all
raiders.
Lieutenants. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, there's that. Yeah, like you bring all your lieutenants. I bring all my land raiders. You're not going to win this. Like there's nothing you could do to crack me. But we're 1,000 points, guys.
That would be fun though. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like that time when we played 8th edition and you brought your competitive Space Marine army, and I was like, I'm gonna bring 110 Guardians and Avatar, and you're like, cool.
Get
in
wrecked.
2 turns, you get fucking tabled, except for Avatar, who doesn't die the entire game and murders all of your Space Marines. But by then, I was like, oh, you just ran around and scored all the points.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's like you that's called not optimizing ahead of time.
Yeah, that shit was fun though.
But that shit was fun though, you know, like that was this game looks like it could be a lot of fun just because so I saw you sent me a thing for Ben's his little faction that won. And I was looking at it thinking
painted really well.
Painted very well. I mean, he's a great painter, so of course. And I thought, like, how does this game work? Is it going to be like fantasy battles, like Warhammer fantasy battles? Which is one of the reasons I didn't really want to jump into this right away, was because I was worried it was going to be another rank and file. And I've been playing AOS, and that's sort of the rank and file I stick to, even though they're not really a rank and file. But now knowing that it's not necessarily that, and it's more like things kind of activate independently, I'm a little more open to this now, a lot more than before.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know if things activate independently.
Yeah,
that's they could activate in like units, but I just don't know enough. I literally got the rule book today, so like
right, but it's more of like the amount of models, right? Like when you look at Ben's,
Ben had like 17 models
exactly, and that's perfect for like a little thing, right? Like I can manage that. Bjorn
does cost 200 points, right? But like we also said, like he had 27 models, or you could take like 100 goblins. Like,
right. And again, like 11
I don't
lieutenants, a bunch of land raiders, like you can have whatever you want build, but you should try to build correctly so that you can win the game scenarios, whatever they are,
Yeah.
This dude did a cheap, I just want to point this out. This guy, they did not rim his base properly. That's all. On Baragond, Guard of the Citadel, page 39 on the armies of the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
If you look at his basing,
page 39.
I don't know if you're going to see it because you're colorblind, and this is definitely green hues.
Oh God. Page 39.
Yeah.
I'm on 28. Go on.
You have to look at the rim of his base.
38, 39.
Do you see it?
Okay. So who?
Baragond.
I'm looking at Balin and Dwalin.
Oh, you're actually doing real page 39, page 37.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah. Sorry. If you're looking at it from the PDF.
So I'm looking at, I was looking at Lord of the Ring, the Hobbit.
Right.
My bad.
Right.
Page 30, actual 39.
Or actual 37 if you had the physical book. Yeah. Can you see his rim?
Oh, I mean, dude, no, it looks the same.
It's not fully painted. Like I could see the green where they meant to go around with another thing of like this brown color and they didn't.
Wait, there's another. What?
So on the rim,
dude, it looks just brown. It's like a poop brown.
It is a darker poop brown like that, but there's like definitely green where they did not paint it. Like they meant to do a second coat, and the photographer is like, "Hey man, I gotta go." Like, and I fuck it, just take this picture.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I mean, Faramir looks good. This guy, Burgond, Guard of the Citadel. I guess his base is fucked up, but his model is fucked.
Oh, I mean, again, that's the charm of the old models, just looking like shit. Like,
I mean, look at Faramir. Faramir looks dope.
Right, different story because they built it differently.
Oh
right?
no,
he's more open.
Look at Madril, the very next guy.
Oh yeah, his face looks like it got squished. What's going on with his hand? Go a little lower. Go to Sirion.
So bad.
Lieutenant of
my
the Amon
God,
Bar.
Sirion.
Like
what
his
did
mouth.
they do to you? I didn't know we were playing the Down syndrome of the rings.
For real, like, hey, again, it's the charm. But the warriors look great. Like they hold up.
They do.
Oh my God, this is just. But that is what it is.
Go to the Hobbit one real quick. I'm going to show you the coolest looking model of the whole range.
What actual page?
Oh, I don't fucking know.
Oh,
hold on. I'm trying to find it.
I like how one of the factions is the survivors of Lake Town. So you get that dude who'll shoot that like big ass crossbow later.
Yeah,
and I think that's fun. Like they could just really be weird with their
PDF page 79.
79. That's 86. I scrolled too far. All right, who am I looking at? Damn, actually,
Mirkwood Ranger.
Yeah, these ones look dope as fuck,
bro. But now I think the goal is to find the shittiest.
Dude, the elf sentinel is dope as hell.
Yeah, dude. The elves. This is this Mirkwood range. Is brand new.
This is a newer range. Yeah, this is one of the ones I was looking at just because I'm a fan of Teriel. So I was like, oh, okay, I'd play that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You like that? She likes dwarfs.
Yeah, I thought that shit was dope. So now I'm gonna go play dwarfs in the other faction.
You can play dwarves and Teriel.
Hell yeah, which is just dope. And then you get this guy. There is Bjorn.
I'm just gonna kill the dwarf and just make Teriel. I'll never kill Teriel. I'll just kill the fucking dwarves just to make her sad.
Big sad. This man, incredible.
No,
he plays narrative.
We're gonna have to go through and see. Oh man, Clansmen of Lambdon, homie. This is back on the main. I think we're gonna find it in the main book, right? Page 53 of the main PDF page 53 or page 51 of the armies from Middle Earth. Clansman Lambdon. I don't know if he's the worst, but he's
up there. Oh my God. Though the painter did a decent job with
trying to make him not look retarded.
No, I was going to say painting the kilt.
Yes.
Yeah, he did a good job on the kilt. Like the text, the pattern is really well done. But yeah, his face is a little melted, and that's your basic infantry. So a lot of you, I like their description: man, Gondor, infantry warrior. He's man.
You know, a lot of the quite a few of the models look excellent, absolutely phenomenal though.
Absolutely. I still like the dead though, because it's real easy to just the dead.
Dude, I used so many of these models for D&D too.
That's
if
what
anyone out there
for.
If anyone out there knows the ugliest Middle Earth character model, you should definitely put it in our Discord.
Can we do an end of the year thing where we look at as many models as we can find that came out this year? And if anyone wants to point out models that came out this year and have an absolute vote for the worst looking model of the year, because everyone always does everyone's favorite mini, but that's just boring. I want to see the worst one, the one that you like looked at and was like, no, I'm not interested in this game. Like when Black Knight and I, since he doesn't like to be named out loud, we were playing the Cyberpunk game from Red Monster. I forget what the company is. And from the images, they look great. But here's the thing. Those are 3D renders. Then I opened up the box because the game system itself plays almost exactly like Kill Team. It's actually great. I looked at the models and it was going like, the models just kill it for me. Like where Infinity, I think the rule sets were kind of like wild, though apparently they got better. The models were awesome in Infinity, where this one, the rule set's awesome, but the models are just like, man, I am not feeling these models. Like, it's just the worst feeling,
No, I feel you. Yeah.
Who wants to look at bad stuff when you're playing your favorite games, But there's endearing to these weird looking ones. Something about them is silly, and I like the old style because, we don't have. I have old guardsmen that look like this, Shit, I'm gonna
like
find
the old Catachan models.
No, I have the female commissar. I do have one Catachan, yeah, and they kind of look like this. All the metal ones. I actually have no idea how I acquired it. It just sort of appeared one day in my boxes.
It's hard to judge a bad orc, Like you're like, is he supposed to have a squished face?
Maybe, like that feels right.
Yeah, is he supposed to look like he has a butthole for a mouth?
Probably.
Like,
he's an orc. Who knows?
Yeah. Like it's hard to judge those.
Like they look like that in the movie. So that feels right.
Yeah. In fact, I haven't found any like bad guys other than Shelob. Okay, here we go. I just lied.
What page?
Shelob is pretty bad. But I'm mostly, oh God. PDF page 212.
212. Oh boy! I remember seeing the ruffian. Yeah. Oh
Warriors
my God!
Of
yeah.
Sharky's Rogues.
Yeah.
Homie.
Another sign of the times. That's all I can say.
He looks bad.
It's a
real
sign of the times because you're.
But also, like, do you know how much fun it would be to play like on a bunch of Hobbit hills? There is something special and cool about playing, Lord of the Rings or any of these other kind of games where you just go out there and you have fun with these characters that you've known for a while. I think we would find more enjoyment in Kill Team if they also had more heroes that people could just play. Ooh,
you could take like a heroic character and that's your leader.
Like if you could like
leader.
You could have like Eisenhorn and some of these other guys. Not like Kill Team HQs or Kill Team Heroes or whatever they had
right when
in
they
the
came
last
out with
edition
the HQ
where you could just have HQs. No, I mean like actual teams of like storied heroes. So you could have like the Eisenhorn team, the Last Chancers. We kind of see it with like the Gellerpox and like
Star Striders and
technically
Justian.
Yeah, like if they took actual heroes. So like imagine taking like Gaunt's Ghosts, and throwing those in, or specific Kill Team Space Marine team or something like that with actual like maybe like the Angels of Death heroes.
I was going to say they'd have to do that. Yeah, they'd have to make more hero teams.
I think if they did that, we would probably have like a renaissance or something in more of a kill team aspect. Yeah, there would still be some competitive stuff, but I feel like you would see more people just playing a team to play the team because they enjoy the heroes. I'm a big hero person myself. And when that doesn't exist, it kind of enables more of the competitive side because you're just like looking for the best, and while that can still always exist, I don't think that we will see as much of it if we had something a little bit more like Lord of the Rings. Oh my God. Did this picture get warped? My guy.
Which
what
one?
The fuck?
I need to know what you're talking about.
Page 30.
30?
PDF, page 30 PDF, page 32. This had to get squished.
Scroll.
Right?
65, 56. I'm going to slow down. I went too far.
The captain of Numenor.
Is that... Oh, yeah. No, that is definitely a warp mini. I'm sure that was metal at some point, too.
Yeah, homie.
Oh, shit. Some of this might be Finecast now.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
this
no.
dude gets my vote for worst that I've seen.
I mean, I would agree with you, but like this model's old, so we got to get new stuff,
Well, yeah, but there's no. Well, yeah. For when we do the after the year thing, I'm just saying.
But right now, this is one of your favorite worst models you've seen.
This is my favorite worst model of Lord of the Rings.
We should point out if we do this model challenge thing, like the worst model you found this year that came out in the last year, maybe the last 2 years, we might need some range. We'll figure that out. It can't be.
Does it have to be from Citadel?
I was going to say it doesn't have to be GW? Citadel, and it can't be something you built. So you can't go on like Hero Forge, just make the worst looking fucking thing you've ever seen. Okay,
so it can be from any manufacturer?
I think that's appropriate, right? And should we specify it to be ones you have to build? Because you could just go to like Hero Clicks and go look at these awful
printed
things.
So it can't be 3D printed. Maybe we have to like limit it to the major brands like Asmodee and
I could live with that. Like it has to have a game system behind it, like a legitimate game system behind it.
Yeah, I think I'd be more.
I could live with that. Yeah, okay, we could do that. Because that's still a lot to choose from. Because you got Warlords, you got Games Workshop, you have, like you mentioned, Asmodee.
I mean, Citadel's going to have just a bunch in themselves.
They have a bunch themselves, so it's like you have a lot to choose from. Okay, I think that could work. Maybe we'll make a separate thing in the Discord, and at the end of the year, we'll have a fun little wrap up, and that'll be like the best one. Or the wooden face, dude. Like, no wooden spoons here.
Do we have a wooden spoon of a kill team so far that's been released? Oh yeah, I think we've gone over this a couple times. I think we have. I have my least favorites. Yeah.
Of the models that came out?
Yeah, of the kill teams. I think maybe we could do it with like brand new releases, things that haven't come out in the last edition or something, But
yeah. I think as long as it's been out like 2024, like so you got the year, then you just do this every year. That could be fun.
Dude, who is the dude who's just playing Heroes of Numenor and just bringing Isildur just so he could yell out Isildur?
He's the same energy, the guy who like yells "wog" when he brings his speed painted orcs.
Isildur!
Same energy. I like the other energy that exists now. Like all the dudes who play World Eaters and they just do push-ups and stuff, and that's like the only thing they do. It's like the nails are biting, like, and then they just are scratching or whatever, and then they start doing all their push-ups and shit. Like that's now become a little cult. Mm-hmm. It's like a real thing, a subreddit of people who just do that, so they're getting more in shape to do it. Which in its own, that's good, like, hey, our games are very sedentary. We should be getting out and running more anyways.
Are you telling people to touch grass, Giacomo?
I'm telling them to go outside and exercise and then come back inside and touch artificial grass on their models.
That's fair. There you go.
Because I'm not going to touch grass either. I want to keep playing with my miniatures, but I have to exercise, Got to keep it up.
So what if you live in a city? Do you just like take your model out with your static grass and you're like rubbing your little finger on the static grass while you're running?
Yeah. Just touch the static grass. Close enough. Whatever.
We should make a TikTok like that. I just saw this amazing TikTok where it was like this guy leaving a bar, like super dejected, no one coming with him, and he's getting picked up by like his homie, right? And he's like, and it was like Tau players, like leaving Games Workshop stores, you know, and he's like all sad and stuff. And I think it was his mom picking up, and his mom was like,
yeah, I know that show.
And his mom was like, he's like, hey, honey, how'd it go? And did you make any new friends? He's like,
not
no.
Really.
Yeah, not really.
Oh man, I love that show. That's such a good line.
Yeah, it's so good.
But you know, like you can make friends if you're a Tau player. We just, you know, everyone just makes a joke. It's fine.
Yeah, you can totally make friends as a Tau player. Totally.
He's laughing for something else unrelated.
No, I actually like Tau. I actually do.
Them. I think they're cool.
Yeah, they are cool, right? But they're just too much fun to make fun of. Like in all actuality, they're the funnest team to make fun of.
Yeah,
they just are. It's just
the fate you have of playing the team. But that's okay because you get to come in first place. And
I don't make fun of people playing the team. I just make fun of the team themselves.
Yes,
the model, the little shooters. You know, the little pulse rifles
that do 4 or 5 damage. It shouldn't be 4 or 5. It should be 3 or 5. All right, whatever. Rant over. It really shouldn't. 4 or 5 is so goddamn strong.
4 or 5, make them hit on 5s. Fuck it.
I could further live with that. A little bit more.
Make them hit on orcs.
I was talking with Melty about this. Like, we were saying plasma is kind of a problem. What if plasma kept its AP2 but went down to 4 or 5 damage instead?
That's a problem only for elites. It kills everything else anyways. And it would kill anything else anyways with 4 or 5.
That's exactly what we meant. So it's like the plasma still will one-shot all like the little dudes, which it's supposed to do, but it helps the elites just survive a bit longer. Unless you roll high.
I'm pretty sure the ultimate problem for elites is not plasma.
It's not just plasma.
It's an innate problem.
It's an innate core rule for elites because they're not loved. Maybe Intercession just hit them just a bit too hard as a free team that they're like, we could never let this happen again.
If you got rid of that, then you're just turning everyone into Intercession. And Intercession fighting Intercession, while fun, is a slog. You know, 4 or 5 damage against themselves takes a while. You know what I mean?
That's true. All right. Maybe not necessarily. But again, you were probably right because I don't think 4 or 5 damage plasma is going to really fix the game. We know plasma is a problem.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, and then there's Melta, you know, and it's like, okay, well, what about fucking, scouts?
Different problem.
They do the exact same damage.
Different kind of problem. I'm trying to fix problems that are solvable here.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they do plasma damage is absolutely fucking insane. Think about that.
It's just pretty nuts when they do their ambush ability 4/6. What's going on? Why do they have rending and why can they reroll? What's going on? I hate this game.
They literally just have plasma knives, and you're
they
like,
did the thing I thought they were gonna do. They're like secret orcs, you know, like out of nowhere. They're the 10 moon models with 10 bodies that are suddenly because orcs were secretly like a melee team with good guns. As orcs always should be. And that's what scouts are going to do, which doesn't feel right, but okay.
I think that's ultimately the funniest thing about the whole everything is, right? Is like Pathfinders, scouts are just like, they look at the Hearthkin plasma knives and they're just like, we actually have plasma knives.
Right, like 4/6. Jeez, with rending on the stratagem, like Jesus Christ.
And balanced blades.
And balanced, like Jesus Christ. Like what's going on? This game isn't I don't know what to do anymore.
This game is balanced. Can we re-roll that? Please.
And oh my God. And they can get so close to the board using 3 recons if they really wanted to. We live in a society.
Oh yeah.
But no, I like a lot of these models from the Lord of the Ring. It seems pretty cool. Definitely, if I was going to start one, it'd either be the Dead of Dunharrow or I cannot remember the other one's name right now. I will remember in a moment. Something. The Halls of Thrundil would be the other one. I don't know about the bad guys yet. I'd have to figure out that.
The what?
For like, because you said you have to pick a good guy faction and a bad guy faction. So now I have to go look at bad guys and decide what I'd play.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, and actually that'd be a pretty fun thing to do. Like, so you have a random friend. Like, but I feel like if you do that, you should get what their opponents, what their bad guys is, because they just have scenarios too, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's the cool thing about it too, though. Too, it's like you could have like a couple friends with different factions too, and I think ultimately this is more of like a collection game too. Like it doesn't seem like you have to have a shit. I mean, if you want to play goblins, you're going to have 100 goblins, like,
right?
There's no way around that. But if you just want to play like the Fellowship, you can
just own the Fellowship and go like, I got 1,000 points almost.
Exactly. And then if you want to play bad guys, it's like, okay, I'm going to play, Easterlings,
Yeah.
That's cool.
I wonder what the unit composition is like. Could you could take all heroes, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I sent you the main.
Oh, the core rules. Okay.
The core rules as well. I'm not 110% sure. Priority moving control zones doesn't really have like
a composition. That's all. I'm just wondering, like,
how the game's composed. We should have brought Lucas on so he could tell us.
It's all right. We can always ask. I could always just send a message on Discord, because he's been playing. He's going to probably play it at LVO, either that or the 30K, depending on which narrative. No, I think they were going to do it at LVO, and then there wasn't enough people to play it, so they dropped it.
Yeah,
like they didn't have a TO. I think it was what it was, so they dropped it.
Oh,
which is unfortunate, because it's like, well, the LVO is like the mecca of going to play all these like games, and I don't just want it to become like the competitive game place, because I'll admit, like, I was a little sad that we took the space of some of the other games, but also that means Kill Team's expanding, so it's both good and bad. But at the same time,
think about this, like, I don't think X-Wing's going to be there. I mean, they could be there.
They could be,
but like X-Wing just like the Asmodee just got rid of them, right?
Yeah, they're like, we're still going to run tournaments and stuff, but like nothing else. So it's kind of one of those like, so this game is dead, right? Like, did this die? Because then that's going to just like, man, it's going to kill the boners of players, and then like you're not going to go to LVO to play X-Wing anymore. That's going to be a game you have that sits in your closet, and you go like, hey, you want to play this game? And you show your friend, and they go like, nah, let's just play Clue. And then, because it's too complicated to learn. Because these games, like, it takes a little bit of like, not only desire to use the game pieces, but also having a decent amount of knowledge on it too. Like, look at those rule books. It's like 200 and something pages, right? Like, you got to be willing to look into this. Other people don't want to, right? Like, you just have to read the first page of a little thing, and then you play a board game. So that's going to be sad to see a game go, because I did like X-Wing, but it'll be sad to go.
Yeah, I do. It's looking like movement phase. I think there's like a phase. So I think if there's a moving phase, shooting phase, fighting phase, similar to 40K.
Makes sense. The phases work.
And then I think you have to move each individual model. So it is skirmish, and you move each individual model, and you can't move a model once you start moving a different model.
Oh, okay, so it's chess rules. Once you pick it up, that's the model you move.
I'm pretty sure. Okay. I mean, I'm sure you could put it back down where it was and then move something else.
Yeah, I mean, we've done that before. Like,
but I'm pretty sure it's a, and then there's a 1-inch engagement range. Essentially, it's called a control zone that you can't move into, and if you do, I think it costs like your movement. There's obstacles that cost 2 to go over, so on and so forth. I think you roll. There's jumping, climbing.
There's a cocked dice roll.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's just rolling dice and then a little thing. Cocked dice. Because of the exciting 3-dimensional nature of our battlefields, sometimes the dice won't land completely flat, or worse yet, will roll off the table completely. In these situations, both players should agree to just roll it again. If you're playing on an especially lumpy or textured surface, and dice keep ending up cocked, just get an empty box lid or tray and roll them in that instead. Simple. That's exactly what it says. I just read it verbatim.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah, this seems definitely like the game. This feels like the most gentlemanly game of all games.
It is.
That
it definitely
GW has made.
When I'm reading it, it definitely feels that way as well. You know, and it kind of goes over. Yeah, it kind of goes over everything. Has courage and all that kind of stuff. And I know some models cause fear. So I'm looking forward to learning the game a little bit more, and kind of going from there.
Heck yeah, and plus it feels like you really want to play on narrative boards, so you can really make a cool looking scenario.
Kill Team is not my narrative game.
No, that is a competitive game, which it's a good competitive game.
For me.
I like the narrative rules though. Those are fun. I plan on hoping to get enough people convinced to want to play narrative on Thursdays that they'll play it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. We tried it before, but I'm going to keep trying it. Not as a league, not as like a paid league, but just as like, hey, you came on Thursday, we're doing the narrative thing, and the story, it's getting closer to midnight each time until, it's over.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
But to build a little story in there. It's fun, right? It keeps you coming in like, hey, you want to know what works, and you're affecting the overall story, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here, G.
It does look like the right time to wrap it up here. I can't believe we made it to 2 hours.
We did. We did. This is just a grand old Dakotah Giacomo chit chat conversation. Yeah. A non-angry one. Non-angry Dakotah chat shit.
Less angry. You were a little angry with some D&D stuff. But it's appropriate. There was some bad stuff back then.
Yeah, there was. There definitely was. But until next time, G, do you want to do any shout outs?
Of course I want to do some shout outs. You can join the conversation in Discord. Tell us what you think if you've played Lord of the Rings, or if you got a hot take about D&D, or maybe you just really wish that the well of Kill Team wasn't so dry. Some people will say it's not dry, but it's pretty dry. Share us your stuff. Share us your least favorite miniature of the year, the ugliest one you've found. Again, the rules will be, it's got to be from a manufacturer that has a game system behind it. It's came out this year, and that'll be fun to see what you guys got. I think that's always fun. And of course, you can find me on Instagram at wargaming_studio. Going to finish those Night Lords. Just listening to this is a lot. We really appreciate you doing all that. If you want to help us out in a more personal way, we do have a Patreon, so that's always appreciated. And if you think this episode's fun, you want to share it with someone, feel free to share it with someone, And how about you, Dakotah? What do you got?
I just want to give a shout out to anyone who's listening. I just want to say thank you, everyone who's listening, especially still at this point. You guys are true fans of the squad games. If you guys want to check out Hobby Highlander or any of the other content that we do, that would be a great appreciation on our behalf. Don't forget to go out, like and subscribe on those. Also check out Tabletop Mayhem. She does a lot of, that's my wife, Isaiah. She does a lot of really good stuff on YouTube. D&D content, I think, is more difficult to grow at first. So if you guys just go over there, give her a thumbs up and a comment, that would be a great help. So, but yeah, that's about it.
Until next time, guys.
Until next time.
See ya.
See ya.
The Squad Games Podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at lestersworkshop.com/squad-games.